It is hoped that this video will point out some of the ways in which cross-infection can take place in the ward environment. A good analogy is to think of the patients as flowers and the nurse as a bee that buzzes from one patient to the next, and any infection takes any infection with them, except in this case it causes cross-infection and not cross-pollination. If the bacteria or virus were visible to the naked eye, it would be easy to see just how much can be picked up from a single visit to a patient, so it is best to be aware of this at all times. Maybe it would be best to imagine you are always under surveillance.
Hello, Mrs. Hoskins. How are you today?
Not too bad, thank you.
Oh, that's good. Can we make sure that you're dry? Will you turn over, please?
Okay.
Oh no, you're a wee bit wet.
Nurse, I'm bleeding!
Oh no, hold on a wee minute. Right.
Stop! Go wash your hands.
It has been found that the nurse's hands are responsible for the majority of cases of cross-infection in the wards. Every time a nurse visits a patient, the hands invariably touch some part of the patient or the bed, and so pick up any bacteria or viruses present. They can remain there for days if the hands are not properly washed. This shows the areas which are most likely to keep the infection, and so washing hands is a very important part of nursing practice.
Stop! Go wash your hands properly. We'll make a good nurse out of you yet.
Urinary tract infections are a very common type of infection picked up by patients in the clinical area. Through careful nursing techniques and being aware of the ease with which they are picked up, it is careful that the infections will be greatly reduced.
Just empty your catheter bag. Oh, okay, nurse.
Stop! You are not maintaining a safe environment, are you, nurse? Also, you have now contaminated your hands. You are now a biohazard. Get out of here.
The nurse is now contaminated, as is the floor, so the nurse should wash her hands very thoroughly and the floor should be thoroughly cleaned.
I'll clean this. Super nurse.
Stop! That mop is contaminated. Get out of here and go and use paper towels. Do it properly, nurse.
The mop would be the obvious choice to clean the floor, but taking swabs of a mop in a ward, we found that the mop was a highly contaminated place. This is due to them being left in water, which is an ideal growth medium for all sorts of microorganisms. The best method for cleaning the floor is to use paper towels, which can be discarded by the nurse.
We'll make a good nurse out of you yet.
If a patient is known to have an infectious disease, they are sometimes barrier nursed to help reduce and hopefully wipe out the chance of cross-infection, but this too has its problems.
much.
How are they been treating you?
Oh, okay. If it's rotten, no. I wouldn't give it to a dog. How is my dog?
Oh, he's fine. I was going to bring him up, but I thought maybe not. But
Oh,
bring him up
fine.
next time.
Oh, okay. Could you put my pillows up for
Aye,
me?
sure.
I'll do. Oh, thanks very much. Have a wee drink.
Oh, thanks. It's quite thirsty. It's quite warm in here.
It is warm in here. I'm awful lonely, but I'm lonely.
Oh, I don't know why they don't move you out. Give you some coffee.
1 hour later,
I'll need to go now.
Okay, see you later.
I'll
Thanks
come and
for
see you
coming.
again, okay?
Bye.
Excuse me, can you tell me how she's getting on?
oh, she's not so bad these days. She's not so bad. She's a bit sort of, she's a bit miserable every now and
Oh,
then.
you
But
should
you
have
know.
said-
Stop! That patient contaminated that relative who contaminated that nurse. They are both now biohazards.
Dear.
Nurse, go wash your hands.
Barrier nursing is not totally successful unless the nurses are aware of why the patient is being barrier nursed, mode of transport of the infection and the necessary protective gear that is worn. This information should be marked on a card and stuck to the door of the side ward being used and should be carefully noted by nurses.
Nurse, can I have a cup of tea?
1 minute, dear.
We'll make a good nurse out of you yet. Just look at those specimens of bacteria in that.
I'll contact you, cousin.
Just look at those specimens of Rosea kidionis. Marvellous therapy for the patient, but ideally this water should be disinfected. Look at it, contaminated, an ideal culture medium. It should be disinfected.